Welcome to this explainer. If you're in class 9 or 10 right now, listen up, because today we're breaking down a seriously strategic time management framework. If you've been hovering around average and want to finally hit that 95% mark, or even higher, we're going to look at the actual real-world mechanics of how top scorers manage their time. No fluff, just what actually works. But first, let's talk about something we've literally all done. Have you ever made this beautiful, perfectly structured study timetable, only to completely abandon it after like 2 days? You know the drill. You sit down, you're super motivated, and you craft this rigid 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. schedule. But then day 3 hits, your motivation tanks, you miss one single time slot, and suddenly the whole schedule just goes out the window. Look, if that cycle of motivation and crashing sounds familiar, I need you to know it is absolutely not your fault. Honestly, the traditional hour-by-hour timetable is a garbage method. Making a timetable is an art. When you fail to stick to a minute-by-minute schedule, that's a flaw in the method itself, not your work ethic. We're just setting ourselves up for failure by trying to operate like literal robots. So instead of that broken method, we are diving into a proven 5-step playbook to turn your routine into top-tier results. Today we'll be covering discovering your peak hours, setting daily targets, the 1-hour productivity rule, the true topper mindset, and finally, smart homework management. All right, let's jump right into step 1, discovering your peak hours. Are you an early bird or a night owl? The absolute first thing you have to do is test yourself to find out exactly when your brain's focus is at its absolute peak. You've got to align your studying with your body's natural clock. So if you're a morning person, your routine means getting to sleep by 9 or 10 p.m., waking up at 5 a.m., and knocking out your weakest subjects in that quiet hour before school. But hey, if you're a night owl, you might need to sleep at midnight and use that totally distraction-free 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. window for your deep focus. You have to tailor your schedule to your biology, not the other way around. And here is the biggest takeaway right here. 2 hours. That's it. You really don't need to study all day and completely burn yourself out. A highly focused, dedicated 2 hours of daily self-study is more than enough for a 9th or 10th grader to completely crush it, as long as you're doing it during those peak energy hours. Moving on to step 2, setting daily targets. It's time to abandon time blocks and embrace task lists. We really need to stop clock watching. There is some actual psychology behind shifting to a target-based approach. Here's what you do. Grab a piece of paper about 5 minutes before you go to sleep and just write down specific chapter targets for tomorrow. That sets your subconscious intention. But the real magic? That happens the next day when you physically cross those tasks out. Doing that generates this amazing daily motivation and gives you a real surge of energy. It basically gamifies your entire study process. Now, obviously, reality is going to kick in. By the 4th day, you might face some heavy procrastination and realize you're only hitting maybe 80 or 90% of your goals. But listen, you have to stick with it for 21 days, even if you fall short at first. Never stop making that daily list. Pushing through that initial friction for 3 weeks pretty much guarantees lasting results. Remember, consistency beats perfection every single time. Okay, step 3, the 1-hour productivity rule. This is all about maximizing your output. I'd honestly say this is the most powerful concept in our entire explainer. The rule is simple. 1 hour of 110% deep, completely distraction-free focus on your weak topics equals 3 hours of distracted, phone-interrupted studying. It's just a scientific reality. Locking your phone in another room and committing to just 1 single hour of absolute focus will give you way better results than sitting at your desk for 3 hours constantly checking notifications. This right here is exactly how you reclaim your time. That brings us to section 4, the true topper mindset, specifically how you react to a ruined day. We really need to look at the psychological barrier that separates average students from the ones at the very top. Imagine you've totally procrastinated, and the entire day just feels like a waste. Your average student reacts by thinking, well, today's ruined, I'll just start fresh tomorrow, and then they go to sleep. But a topper's mindset, it's completely different. They think, okay, today is totally ruined, but hey, I still have 30 minutes left right now. A top-tier student never waits for tomorrow. They squeeze every drop of value out of even a tiny 15 or 30-minute window just to keep their momentum going. And our final step, step 5, smart homework management. We have to stop wasting our prime energy on administrative tasks. Think about it. Homework and basic note-taking often require zero actual brain power, yet they eat up hours of your day.
Since this administrative work is mostly just mindless copying, you should absolutely knock it out during free periods at school whenever you can. If you can't, do all that mindless work 1 hour before sleeping. Why? Because doing boring tasks actually helps a tired brain transition into sleep mode. The golden rule here is to never ever let administrative work eat into your precious high-energy self-study time. You've got to protect those 2 hours of power.
I've also got some bonus advice straight from our source material for long-term success. First, you need to erase that "I will start tomorrow" mindset right now. It's literally the enemy of progress. Second, please avoid setting unrealistic goals, like trying to cram an entire math syllabus into a single day. That's just a one-way ticket to burnout. And most importantly, track your genuine focus, not just the hours you spend sitting at a desk. Staring blankly at a wall for an hour does not count toward that 95% goal. By finally ditching those garbage hour-by-hour timetables, figuring out your peak hours, setting daily target lists, and actually executing these 5 steps, that dream score of 95% or even higher totally shifts from being some wild fantasy to an absolute reality. It really just comes down to disciplined consistency. So, to wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a challenge. Knowing that 1 hour of deep work is practically worth 3 hours of distraction, what specific target are you going to write down tonight for your next 2 hours of power? Don't wait for tomorrow. Start treating your timetable like an art today and watch your academic results completely transform.